Channel 999.
We are live in Columbus Nationwide Arena with Demi Lovato, who is going to take the stage here in another hour or so. How was your time in Columbus so far?
My time in Columbus is great.
Now, your hair is a different color all the time.
Yeah.
On purpose, I'm assuming. What was the story behind the pink this time around?
There's really no story behind any hair color that I do. It's just I want to change my hair, so I do it.
Fair enough. Now, you're 3/4 of the way through the tour, which is going well. Hearing nothing but rave reviews about everything so far. But the other side of things that still amazes me, where did you find the time, given the stint on X Factor, the tour now, how did you find the time to write a book?
I don't know. It kind of just happened, and it's one of those things where I had been like thinking about it and having ideas for it, and then the due date came, and I was like, oh my god, I have to put this together within like a week. So yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Now, they say that it's easy to write a book in the sense that if you've got all the stuff there, it just kind of flows out.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was. And because it wasn't a novel, it was pretty easy. All I had to do was just elaborate on one quote every page, and just kind of came out the way that it did.
And then it ended up being one of the best-selling books on the bestseller list. How's that? That's got to feel good, like the first book, and it does.
Yeah, it was crazy, and I remember it was just pretty surreal being like, okay, wait. First of all, when did I become an author? And second of all, when did I become a best-selling author? So that was crazy.
Now, and then of course, now recently, and we both, Nathan, our digital guys behind you, we both kind of applaud your statement from last week about the whole, I hate to bring it up and I'm sorry, but the Lady Gaga thing which we thought the same thing. We were like, we saw the performance, like, what is that? And then you came out and said, hey, wait a minute, there's nothing cool about that, which I think is pretty cool, and I think you've got such a following of little girls who you've said, hey, guys, this is okay. You don't have to fall into this trap. You don't have to be this way, and there's absolutely nothing cool about this kind of thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That wasn't a question.
I mean, it wasn't a question,
Thank you.
But no, that takes a lot. I mean, against something like that, to stand up for that takes a lot, because a lot of times when you go against the norm like that, there aren't that many people that are willing to put themselves out there and go, hey, wait, hold on. You don't have to take that path.
Well, I think everyone is allowed to express themselves differently, and to each their own, whatever. But I think that there has to be sometimes a voice of reason that kind of says, okay, that's that. But sometimes I feel like taking on the responsibility, because I've spoken out about these things, that someone has to say that, it can be dangerous with the way that people express themselves. So it's nothing against Gaga personally at all.
Sure.
She's actually struggled from an eating disorder herself, and I feel for anybody that struggled from an eating disorder. But it's just a matter of kind of when teenagers and young adults are trying to find themselves, what they see is what they do. And like right after that, there were pictures of fans with fingers in their mouths, and it just, someone has to be that voice of reason where they say, okay, that's that. But for the people that aren't going to understand that that's art or expressing themselves, just saying, it's not healthy.
I don't like the fact, and I'm thankful that I don't have kids because of this fact, I don't like the fact that society's kind of made everyone feel like they have to fit a certain mold. They have to look a certain type. They've got to wear a certain size. They've got to do that. And I think a lot of times, one of the biggest struggles with kids, I'm sorry, I did not mean to cut you off, is that they don't know how to be themselves because everybody's telling them they have to be something different.
Well, I mean, that's a part of growing up. You don't know who you are until you grow up. I thought I knew myself at 16, and then I thought I knew myself at 17, and I think I know myself today, but that's going to change. So I think that part of the reason why society feels that way is because of the influences that are putting their art and their music and their fashion and what they stand for out there. So yes, society is being molded by people that are in the spotlight, and so it's important for us to take on and assume the responsibility that whether we like it or not, we're role models and we have an influence.
Absolutely.
And so I try to just spread positivity, because if I needed that when I was growing up, and my little sister needs that, and there's tons of people that need that. So I want to be that for people.
Awesome. Very cool. Now, you have plenty of tattoos. Do they have significance?
A lot of them do, yes, and some of them were just... Speaking of being a positive role model, some of them were not, I wasn't in the best state of mind.
That's okay. I don't feel like I think my mom is still not forgiving me for the fact that I was 17 years old and came home on Mother's Day with a tattoo on my back.
Well, that's fucked up. That's just fucked up.
Yeah.
My mom saw my first tattoo when I was 16, and so she was like, what? And she was so mad at me, so she never forgave me either.
Gotcha. All right. But they look great. The hair looks great. We hear great things about the show, and we hope everything goes awesome tonight. Thank you for coming. Thank you for taking the time to hang out back here. Can we take a selfie?
Yeah.
So I can hashtag it?
Yeah.
Awesome.